If you had a time machine and you knew who you used to be in one of your past lives, right? Like reincarnation. Okay. So 100 years ago, I was, I don't know, a servant for a rich guy working at a big castle. I don't know, whatever, right? Okay. And you had a time machine and you go back and you meet this person who you used to be 100 years ago. Are you guys the same soul? Yeah, you would be the same soul, huh? What does everybody say about twin flames? You guys are the same soul. How does that work? Well, it essentially works the way that I just explained to you. Here's the thing about reincarnation that most people misunderstand. Because everybody's thinking in terms of linear time, you think that when you reincarnate, you're going to have to go into the future. That's what everybody thinks, right? Like, I'm going to die in 50, 60 years, whatever that is, the year 2080. I'm going to die in the year 2080, and then I'm going to reincarnate into the year 2082, right? That's what you're thinking, right? But you don't have to do that. You really don't. And there's even like if you hop on YouTube, for example, you can type in reincarnation stories or past life stories, or you can type in future life stories. So past life regression, future life progression, right? But this is the thing that confuses people about this, guys. Time. What did Albert Einstein say about time? Well, what he said was there really isn't time. There really isn't time. Time is just an illusion of the mind. It's a perception of reality, but it's not really real. There really isn't any such thing as time ultimately at all. And I know it's hard for some people to wrap their mind around that because the mind is linear. The mind wants things to fit neatly into like an orderly linear box, past, future, here, there, right? That's the way it works. But what scientists have figured out is there's really no such thing as time, guys. And they've proven it. And it's most apparent to you from this higher plane of existence, this higher field of existence beyond the physical world, right? So this diagram here that you see on your screen here, maybe I'll try to make it a little bigger. Here you go. Okay. So this is my representation of the soul in heaven, which is existing on a higher plane. And from higher planes of existence, all moments happen simultaneously. Your soul can see everything you're doing from your birth until your death in this life and all of your past lives too, or future reincarnations, or there's you and your twin flame. Your higher self can see all of it simultaneously from up here, guys. And that's really how science says that would work. That's really how the universe works. That's really how higher planes work. Yes, everybody is a twin flame, technically. There could be 10 of you walking around out here. There could be 100 of you. You don't know. Why? Because reincarnation is a time machine. Every time you reincarnate, like again, if you die in 60 years, you can go back to the 1970s and reincarnate there, and you can do it over and over and over and over again. You can do it again and again. So if you can keep coming back to the same time period and reincarnating over and over and over again, there could be a whole bunch of you walking around and you would all be the same soul. every single one of those reincarnations. And notice I'm using actually pretty conventional scientific laws, things that they teach in school, like high school physics. At some point, the teacher's going to want to talk to you about time and how that really works in conjunction with higher planes of existence, which supposedly that's where you go when you die. So, yeah, there could be 10 or 20 incarnations of your soul walking around right now on planet Earth. Hmm. Now, that's the epistemology of where I'm getting my information from. Everybody says twin flames are the same soul. And I'm looking at real science and I'm going, wait, actually, you could legit have twin flames. You could, for really real, meet somebody that is the same soul as you. You really could. Son of a gun. That is so mind blowing. You can even explain it scientifically. So, let me share something with you here. I just want you to see this in case you don't know what that is. I think most people do know what that is, right? Epistemology. So, the study of epistemology is essentially where we're asking, okay, where did this knowledge that you have come from? Where did you acquire it? How is knowledge acquired? Where did you get this information from? Right? That's epistemology. And what I'm giving you is pretty grounded science. Nothing really presumptuous. These are pretty, well, not pretty well, but extremely well accepted and proven scientific principles about how time works. The only thing I'm adding is to try to say, well, how can you explain reincarnation? The soul is energy, it's a wave, right? And that's what all the great spiritual masters are going to tell you. Buddha, Jesus, Krishna, Yogananda, Ram Dass. Again, my epistemology are the big names in spiritualism. They're going to tell you the soul is this essence, it's pure energy, it's beyond mind. And by the way, that's exactly where it would go. They're always going to tell you, you go to this higher plane of existence and then you reincarnate from there. I mean, it's part of major religions, even. That's how well taught that is. So that's my epistemology for reincarnation. And then I'm taking science and I'm going, wait, you now have modern science with a similar mechanism that looks exactly like reincarnation, what people have talked about with reincarnation. I mean, it's uncanny how aligned those two things are. I don't think this is a stretch. So there's my epistemology. I'm using the biggest names in spiritualism, teachings that are very well accepted as far as what reincarnation is, how that works. And then I'm using modern physics. And I'm going, yeah, you could have that. It really could work like that. Son of a gun. These two things line up. Now, the thing that everybody else wants to believe about twin flames is that it's special and that you only have one and only certain people are a twin flame and we are special and it's not just everybody has a twin flame. Well, what I'm saying is everybody has a twin flame, but no, not everybody meets their twin flame. That's true. But most people who hear that, like everybody has a twin flame, You just, not everybody meets them, right? The people that don't like that, the reason they don't like it is either number one, they don't understand the science. And if that's you, just go to this playlist on my YouTube channel. It's called Twin Flame Science. And watch this second video called What Are Twin Flames? Right? I'm going to do a much more in depth explanation of the science. You should get it. There's also this video called How the Soul Works, where I explain there's even science for that. Really, it's information stored in the universe, the soul, and there's real science that I can point to. And I'm not even pushing the science a little bit, you guys. It's pretty grounded, these scientific principles that I would point you at. So, for those of you who just don't understand, go check this playlist out. Now, for everybody else who just has a problem with it, and it doesn't matter how much science you throw at them, what's going to be their epistemology? Where are they getting their information from? Well, I'll tell you where they're getting their information from. Other people on the internet. Guys, this is the thing about this niche, twin flames, that I don't love. People who tell you what they think you need to do about your twin flame and how it all works and why. And they're either just playing telephone, they're getting the information from somebody else and passing it on to you, or they just made it up. It just feels true. It just sounds good. Here's the problem with that. Guys, if you're suffering and struggling out there and your twin flame is rejecting you and you're desperate and you're suffering and you feel like shit, and by the way, there's people that go through this for years, years and years, 10 years, just searching, suffering. They don't know what they're going to do, crying about this person, right? I don't want that. And I don't think you want that. Guys, your well being should not depend on what somebody thinks, on someone's opinion. Give me something concrete. Give me something I can sink my teeth into. And that's all you're going to get from the internet all day long. And there's really no epistemology. I mean, I can show you where, for example, the soul splitting hypothesis, that's usually the one that you're going to get from people, or they're going to go, oh, yeah, nobody knows. There's no explanation for twin flames. It's just mysterious, right? They're going to tell you that. And you're over here in a bad way. You're desperate. You're suffering. You're at the end of your rope. And whether or not I can feel better and get my twin flame to come back even and end the suffering, I'm going to just go ahead and bank on this person that's going off of something that feels right to them, huh? Guys, empiricism, logic, reason, that's going to get you answers. That's going to end your suffering. And I just shared with you the epistemology for where I got my ideas from. The great spiritual masters, Buddha, Jesus, Yogananda, right? So just even Buddhists, when they talk about reincarnation, they're going to go, yeah, you go back up to even a Christian. You go to this place, heaven, they call it, right? And then when you look at science, wait, they're talking about the same thing. They're not going to call it heaven, mind you, but it works exactly the same. These higher planes, heaven, the afterlife, or in the science world, right? The energy part of the universe, the void. If you could exist on that higher plane, yeah, there's no time. It's formless and it's just information. These are exactly the same, guys. Now, the epistemology for the whole stuff about the soul splits, this is one place that it could have possibly came from. Symposium by Plato. And if you read Symposium, you can probably type in Wait, wait, wait. It just said it. Yeah, love two halves. Here you go. Um, in Plato's Symposium, the idea of love as two halves comes from a myth told by the playwright Aristophanes. Okay. Where humans were originally two headed, four armed beings who were split in two by Zeus. I mean, really? And the thing is, if you go read it, by the way, it's all soulmate stuff. It's, oh, yes, the two people, they love each other so much and they can never be apart from each other. It's as though the soul split and the two have been reunited and they can never be apart, right? And there's no talk at all about Dark Night of the Soul, having a spiritual awakening, the running and chasing with your twin flame, the desperation, the obsessive thinking. There's no mention of Kundalini. There's no mention of out of body experiences. There's no mention of psychic visions. There's no mention of like merging with God and the universe and having a spiritual awakening. He doesn't mention that at all. Guys, it was romantic prose, it was poetry, it was a story. And then you also have this person who I just made a video, Elizabeth Clare Prophet. She did not meet her twin flame. I will link the video for you in the video description of this video here. It's right here, the first ever twin flame mission, where I show you Elizabeth Clare Prophet is where one person who peddles the soul splitting hypothesis, right? In her book here, she didn't even meet her twin flame. Also, she started a cult where supposedly Jesus told her that there's going to be full blown nuclear war on March 15th, 1990. And she convinced thousands of people to give her all of their money, millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars. She scammed people out of tens of millions of dollars. And they went and they built underground bunkers and they were stockpiling guns and food and ammo. Her husband got busted by the ATF and went to prison. Okay. That's another place where the soul splitting hypothesis came from. Okay. And she didn't meet her twin flame. Just go watch that video. Go watch the video that I made. It's called The First Twin Flame Mission Ever, where I debunk the myth about mission and healing and all that stuff, guys. So there's the epistemology of the soul splitting, which is that, you know, the soul is one solid object and it's split into two. And there's not even any known physical law to support that at all. I'm using real science that makes sense. I've had physicists come through my program who met their twin flame and they go, yeah, you explained it right. You don't need to convince me, Kurt. Here's another thing. The people who desperately cling to their, you only have one twin flame and it's this super special thing. And no, not everybody has a twin flame, and you're only really super special for meeting your twin flame. You're badass and it's super special and amazing, right? Think about this for a second. That's what they're thinking. They're thinking, I'm super special. I'm unique. Nobody else is like me. I'm very individual and special now because I'm a twin flame and there's only 144,000 twin flames or whatever, right? Guys, they're making this into an identity. That's the opposite of the soul. Your twin flame and you are the same soul, right? And these people are doubling down on the identity of mind, the ego mask, the mental and emotional person, this identity. which is temporary. When you die, all of that shit's gone and you're just consciousness again. You're just this formless essence in the ether. So the whole identity of I am a twin flame and this is an important community and it's super special and unique and nobody else is a twin flame and we're just super amazing and special. Yeah, that's gone, guys. The day you die, that's gone. You are a soul. The soul isn't emotional, it's not conceptual, it's none of that stuff, guys. It's not a personality. You know who's going to tell you that? Buddha, Jesus, Yogananda, Krishna, Eckhart Tolle, right? The big names in spiritualism. What's my epistemology? Spiritual masters. That's the deal with twin flames. This isn't a personality contest. This isn't a popularity contest. We're not doing this to be special and important. And I'm not here to put anybody down. I don't think I'm better than anybody else, guys, but I mean, even Eckhart Tolle has talked about this. You could go on YouTube and type in Eckhart Tolle spiritual ego. And he's talking about ego in the clinical sense of the word, not the pejorative. Like the pejorative use of the word ego is like, oh, well, you're really arrogant. You're in your ego, right? Not like that, but the clinical sense of the word ego, which is this identity. It's the mind, right? It's a personality. And he's talking about people who have made spiritual into their identity. It's like part of their personality, which defeats the whole purpose. Real spiritualism is to go beyond the identity mask, you guys. No, twin flames are not special. But I'll tell you what, when you meet someone who is the same soul as you, it's still pretty special, guys. It really is. That's the truth about twin flames. See you later.